Alright, let's go. Oh man, this thing is little. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dork side. It is I, your friendly neighborhood dork in the woods. And today, I am test riding, reviewing, giving you my thoughts on the Suzuki DR200. That's right everyone, I am the dork in the road and I want to be your internet riding buddy. And I'm better than your regular riding buddies because I'm available whenever you want and I come with the mute button. So please consider subscribing and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you know when I post awesome new content just like this. So those of you that are fans of the channel, have been around for a while, might be confused as to why I'm riding a DR200 right now. And, well, my dad recently bought one just a couple weeks ago, and today we're out in the woods, putting it through its paces on its maiden voyage. And so we're swapped bikes for the ride down, so he's behind me on my CRF250L, so an important piece of information to know in terms of my thoughts on this bike is that I normally ride a CRF250L. And I am riding the DR200, so I can give you some thoughts and impressions on the motorcycle. So I'd never ridden a DR200 until I test rode this one at the dealership when Dad was there. And I will say, one, this is going to sound like an insult, but it's better than I expected. And I don't know what I was expecting. I think because it's a 200, it's got, you know, 20% less horsepower than my CRF. It's carbureted and all that. I was sort of expecting to be disappointed by it. And overall, it's a fun little bike to ride. I had a great time when I rode it on the street. It had plenty of power, I think, you know, somewhere between the Grom and the CRF250L, which you would expect. It is a decent little bike that seems to be pretty fun to ride. So, first impressions when you swing your leg over it, and again, keep in mind I'm coming from a CRF250L, is that it is, it's definitely quite a bit lower. The seat height is lower, so this bike would be way easier to handle for a brand new rider or somebody who was concerned about seat height and getting their feet down. I'm tippy-toeing half the time, or I get the ball of my foot down on the CRF, you know, which concerns me sometimes on uneven ground if I have to stop, but this thing, lots of confidence there. It doesn't bother me at all. I feel like I could take this all kinds of funky places and feel confident that I could get my foot down if I got into trouble or whatever. That lower seat height is a big advantage, I think, over the CRF. And I'm going to try to remember to put some specs on the screen for you so you get an idea. I think it's 20 horsepower. Another big pro of this bike, an amazing thing actually that I couldn't believe when I first heard, is that it has it's like a 3.3 bigger than 3-gallon gas tank. So my CRF has a 2-gallon tank. Duckfan's WR250R has a 2-gallon tank. A lot of dual sports have small 2-gallon tanks, and this little turd, this little monkey right here, has a full 3+ gallon tank. So it's got quite the range. I wish my CRF had that. That's one big advantage here. The other thing that's crazy, so a big plus that I'm noticing right off the bat, is the mirrors are actually useful. It's pretty rare for a bike, for any bike, that the stock mirrors are useful in my experience, but they're very useful on a dual sport. It's even more rare. And these, I'm super impressed with them. They're square and weird looking, but I can totally see behind me. I'm just watching Dad to make sure he's keeping up. No problems back there. So I'm impressed with it. The other thing is, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, and I don't remember the MSRP off the top of my head. Sorry, I'm in the woods with no cell phone coverage, but I know it's between $4,000 and $5,000. And it's around the same price, same MSRP as the TW200, I believe, which makes sense if you think about it. They're both 200cc carbureted dual sport bikes. So those are the things, the good things, the pluses of this bike. But there are a lot of significant pieces that are interesting as a rider of a CRF250L, a little bit more modern design of a motorcycle. So the first thing you notice when you put your leg over this bike is that it's lower to the ground, like I mentioned. But the second thing you notice is how far the suspension sags. And maybe it hasn't been adjusted, but it is definitely a lot squishier than the suspension on my CRF. So it has a squishy suspension, and it's not, even in the front, which I'm sure isn't adjustable, it doesn't appear to be, it's not doing a great job of soaking up the bumps. I'm really feeling them in the front. All the little bumps that on the CRF I don't think I would be feeling, I'm definitely getting them. So the suspension is soft, and I'm bouncing all over the place in a way that I wouldn't be on my CRF. Another thing to consider is the seat is not very comfortable. Dual sport seats never are. They just never are. But this one is not amazing. Ooh, gets up and goes though. It's uncomfortable, it feels like a piece of wood. You're going to want a seat cushion or a replacement seat if you're going to spend any amount of time on it. That's just how they are, so standard issue there. Power-wise, unfortunately I'm going downhill right now, but I can tell you from having ridden it on the street that I was impressed. I expected it to have less power. I think I expected it to be more like the Grom, but it is a lot closer to the CRF. There's definitely a noticeable difference, but it's not massive. It's not huge. So that is impressive. I think for a little motor like this, yeah, we're running out of gas. That's the other thing. Yep, she's running out of gas. Dad didn't fill it up before we left, so it vibrates like crazy. It's time to go to reserve, I think. Yeah. It's cutting out. All right, how you like it?
I like it. Probably wasn't a good idea.
Well, try not to think about it too much next time we ride in this one. Think about how much more it costs, so.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's fun, like it's fun and responsive. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but the power delivery and the amount of power is good. Like for this type of riding, for forest riding, for logging roads, even for mildly sketchy technical uphill stuff, you're probably gonna have plenty of power. It's definitely less power, but it is it's still fun. If you're worried that a 200 is not going to be fun, it's definitely fun. And that's one of the other big pros for me on this motorcycle is it's fun but not intimidating like the Grom. I feel like I could ride the piss out of this bike, push it as hard as I wanted and never really get myself in trouble. So it's definitely a slow bike that you can ride fast on the street and in the woods probably. It's got these really, the stock tires are very 50-50, so I'm not pushing them too hard on this gravel, but I really feel like you could have a lot of fun pushing this bike to its absolute limit. And it's such a simple machine that it can totally handle it. It's carbureted, not fuel injected, so it does have to warm up a little bit when you get on it. We just rode up to the top of a mountain though, and Dad didn't say anything about the performance being funky, so I don't know if the air-fuel mixture is difficult or not. It seemed to do just fine, so with elevation changes, so that's the other concern with the carburetor. I will tell you that it is vibrating as hell. Like, and I know that some of that is the road because the suspension's not soaking it up, but it's definitely vibing me. Like if you rode this for a long time on the road, especially at what I assume would have to be high RPMs on the highway, I think you're gonna feel it. So keep that in mind. The vibration, because it revs kind of high because it's a small motor, you're gonna feel that vibration. I like the design of this bike. I like these colors this year. I don't like the old yellow ones at all. I don't like the yellow Suzukis. Man, there are a shit ton of people up here today. These are those same dudes. Same dudes we saw earlier. I don't know what the hell they're doing. On mushrooms, maybe. The instrument cluster looks like it came off of a bike made in the 1970s, which may be the last time they refreshed this design. I don't know. It's definitely not a bells and whistles bike. It is simplicity personified. If saving money is your primary concern, but you still want a bike that's reasonably capable, then I think you could do well with this motorcycle or the TW200. No bells and whistles. It's not exciting. It's not going to blow your skirt up or whatever. So if that's what you're looking for, something that can be a little bit more capable and push more into the dirt bike realm, you might want to think about a CRF250L or a WR250R. Bang for your buck, this is a great trail bike, a great putting around bike, a great back of the motorhome bike. Could be really good for that. Good for forest road riding like this. Good. You could take it trail riding. I think just the suspension is going to really bother you if you get into anything technical. I think it's going to hamper your ability to do a lot. It could do it, and a good rider could do way better on this thing than I ever could on my bike, but you're definitely going to feel that suspension and the squishiness of it. So keep that in mind. Stock-wise, it doesn't come with a lot of protection. Like I said, they're just not set up for off-road riding when you first get them. But in terms of a bike that you can jump on, take, flog the shit out of, do whatever you want, and know that it's going to be capable, get you there, and be reasonably reliable, it's a fun bike. Like this is the kind of bike. It's like my Grom in that if I have to run to town, it's definitely the bike I would hop onto because it's the most fun to like zip around town on and stuff, which I like. I don't know. I haven't tried standing up on it yet. Oh, weird. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, just a squishy suspension. It's easy to handle though, and it is short. I don't know what the seat height or suspension travel is, but my guess it is significantly reduced compared to the CRF. So if you've got somebody that you want to get into dirt bike riding or off-road riding, or you want to get into off-road riding, but the dirt bike style bikes intimidate you, this one is not going to intimidate you. There is nothing intimidating about this motorcycle. And I think that's a good thing. For the right rider, that's an excellent thing. Like, I think my kid could ride this. I think she could handle this motorcycle. It's street legal, so she couldn't ride it on the road, but I think she could upgrade to this someday. My dad gets tired of it. Seating position-wise, pretty standard dirt bike. I like where the bars are. I don't feel like I need a riser. Seated, standing up, I might. Again, this is kind of a test ride and first impressions, not like a thorough overview because I don't have all the specs right in front of me. But it certainly got the job done today. It got us up into the woods. It got us up to the top of a beautiful overlook. It handled some rocky, technical, steep stuff really well, easily. I think it's a good little bike for a very specific person. If someone said, I want to get a dual sport, what's the best one? Would I say a DR200? No. It would be, honestly, probably 6th or 7th on the list. Somebody said, I only have $4,500 and I want to get a dual sport, and for some reason they couldn't find a used CRF or a DRZ. I would recommend this bike. So I don't hate it, but I don't see myself going out of my way to recommend it to people unless they're brand new or not planning to do anything super crazy and need an unintimidating motorcycle. That is my first impressions, my overview, my first initial thoughts on the DR200S. So if you have questions that I could answer based on my limited time with this bike, please feel free to leave them in the comments. If you have a DR200 of your own, I'd love to hear how you like it, how you think it compares to the other dual sport bikes out there. But for now, I think that's going to do it for us. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you, and as always, until next time, please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!
I don't trust these tires, but otherwise it seems reasonably capable.